Let's now look at emergent strategies. We know that the process is probably more important than a specified outcome here. We can begin by starting with an analysis of the strategic environment and strategic competitive resources. This is similar for both prescriptive and emergent processes. The next stages of emergent process are then much less clear. Purpose is deliberately left vague and experimental. There is no clear and specific choice mechanism as there is in prescriptive strategy. Rather, there is an acknowledgement that it is more important to launch products and then learn from experience in the marketplace. We can use double loop learning and the learning-based mechanism of Peter Senge and others to help here. Although emergent strategies can start in much the same way as prescriptive strategies when analysing the environment and resources, there is one important qualification to this approach. Because we want to be more experimental and investigative, we will want to lay more emphasis on new market trends and tastes. In breakfast cereals, this means 3 trends in particular. First, the trend away from sitting down for breakfast. Some people at least claim they no longer have time for breakfast as such. They want breakfast on the go. This is where breakfast cereal bars come in. They allow people to eat breakfast on their way to work. Second, the trend towards more healthy eating. Some people want to have more natural ingredients, less refined products, more organically sourced products, and so on. This is where the trend towards more organically grown products with lower levels of fat and salt comes in. Third, the desire of other competitors to take part in the market, perhaps through specialist premium breakfast cereals. You can probably name some other recent food trends that might be included, perhaps exploring new tastes and ingredients. It's also important to consider further the competitive advantages of cereal partners, such as the existing product ranges of its parent companies, to see whether there is anything further that might be exploited in the new breakfast cereal company. Perhaps a new product launch or a new technology developed by the parents. It's equally important here to be creative and imaginative as well as logical and fact-based. Let's now turn to strategic purpose in emergent strategy. We know that the process takes a more divergent path than prescriptive strategy. Rather than having a fixed purpose, the aim is to experiment and trial new products. They are not immediately judged by whether they meet some specific criteria like return on capital employed. They're just allowed to happen and allowed to evolve. Purpose remains essentially unresolved for at least part of the period of time in emergent strategy. Cereal Partners' purpose, 20% by the year 2000, does not disappear, but it is not the immediate driving force. You can read about this in the chapter on innovation and purpose in the book. This means that the prescriptive approach of developing a set of options and then making a choice is no longer correct. By all means, develop the options, but do not make a choice between them. Experiment, trial some in the marketplace, and use the learning process described in the book to move forward. With regard to breakfast cereals, this meant that Cereal Partners trialled a number of products in different countries to find out what were the most successful. In reality, the company could also take this further by setting up special project groups to develop new product ideas, perhaps groups that are multidisciplinary, perhaps groups that have some people from outside the company, perhaps even groups that have some quite unusual members like artists and musicians and so on. Importantly, such groups do not have a specific brief and are not blamed if they fail to produce a commercial product. The important point is that they are innovative and different with the best allowed to develop commercially. Again, you can read more about this in the book.